Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. I'm called Morinzi at Top Stories. The illegal occupation of land and unorthodox land acquisition has left many in Cameroon's economic city Douala frustrated. The wrong acquisition procedures has pushed some in the hands of scammers, while others have faced eviction from occupying land illegally. And a shepherd in Gaundere in the Damawa region has missed death by hair's breadth. He was reportedly shot at close range by soldier. Those were major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. The illegal occupation of land and unorthodox land acquisition has left many Cameroonians in the economic city Douala frustrated. The wrong acquisition procedures has put some in the hands of scammers, while others have faced eviction for occupying land illegally. Gladys Ambodibang has the rest of that story.
The proliferation of land disputes and the anarchical construction of houses in certain neighborhoods in Douala, Cameroon's economic city, is on the increase in spite of eviction threats in areas considered inhabitable for the population. Esenge, situated in the Douala 1 subdivision, is a good example. It harbors thousands of people, several of whom have acquired and constructed houses. How did some proceed with land purchase?
I'm here for 25 years in Esenge. I acquired my land in Esenge, the chief of Esenge. He gave me a land, I give a small, little sum of money. I don't have a land title.
I've been here for over 11 years. I acquired my land through another landlord. No, I needed not to be afraid because I knew that him being one who had a school, he couldn't acquire a land that hadn't a land title.
To avoid the frustration of future eviction and the terrifying stories of land scamming, Martin Bucheko, who has lived in his own house for more than 25 years in the Bona local neighborhood, is convinced that those duped are shortcut lovers.
Tous ceux qui tombent dans les terrains désordonnés, c'est parce qu'eux-mêmes veulent le raccourci.
He emphasized that it is important for prospective buyers to follow the right land acquisition procedure to avoid being scammed and or buy land on marshy lands, drainage routes and low-lying flood zones where they will live with a constant fear of eviction and keep complaining.
Threats in this quarter, the poor will come and say they own the quarter, of which we believe the village is owned by a chief. We don't have pipe-borne water here, we suffer a lot, and that's why I have a lot of sicknesses or illnesses. Electricity too is another problem. The roads are not too good.
With 81% of houses constructed anarchically in the economic capital, the Douala City Council is, however, putting in more efforts in urban planning to make it a better city, reason for setting aside a day for urbanization.
And a shepherd in Gaundere in the Damawa region of Cameroon has missed a verdict by his breath. He was reportedly shot at close range by a soldier. According to reports, Ismail Hamadou, 20, was conveying his cattle to the market when he met the unfortunate incident. The reasons for the soldier's actions are not clear, but many suspect he was acting after noticing an invasion of cattle on the main way. His actions have been widely condemned by inhabitants of Gaundere in the Damawa region. And a campaign to deworm children from 5 to 14 years kicks off November 31 all over the national territory. Instead of worms affects more than 10 million Cameroonians. Let's take a listen, or let's listen to Dr. Adika. He's calling on parents to allow the children to be vaccinated in schools.
Yes, parents, dear parents, don't be afraid. The drugs are safe. The drugs that will be administered is mebendazole. It is not to do publicity, but commonly called Vermox. So it is free distribution of Vermox to all the children. The drugs are safe. They are coming from a safe source, so parents should not be afraid. Also, even if the child was dewormed at home like 1 week ago or 2 days ago, the child can still take the drug without any fear of side effects or of overload. So parents should not be afraid.
The National Syndicate of Workers of Water, Energy and Mines have challenged the government of Cameroon to quickly decentralize the management of potable water to the local council to solve the problem of scarcity of basic social needs. The frowns at the speculations of reprivatizing water in Cameroon again. More in the following story with Haisincha.
Cameroonians continue to cry over the absence in quantity and quality of potable water in their localities. It is common to see dry taps, gone for weeks and months in some neighborhoods without a precious liquid. Most often, what flows like water appears so dirty and colorful. The National Syndicate of Workers in charge of water, energy and mines, in their finals for the best advocacy this weekend in Yaoundé, challenges the government to make the supply of water to Cameroonian citizens a top priority. They strongly say no to the rumors of reprivatizing water in Cameroon.
We here making an advocacy to the government that the government should not reprivatize public water in Cameroon. Because from the past experience, 10-year privatization without good result was a total failure.
Reprivatization, the young advocates explain, may render the situation worse if left in the hands of individuals.
These private firms are out for profit and they're not out for the benefit of the Cameroonian people. And so they don't really have the interest of the people at heart. And that is why they can produce anything for people to consume, because there is little or no follow-up.
Rather, decentralization of water management involving the local councils could be the perfect solution.
Perhaps give more sufficient means to the municipalities so that they can be up to their task as far as water distribution is concerned.
An approach the young men and women underline has yielded fruits in many other countries.
Remunicipalization that have been successful in countries like France, in countries like Tanzania, in countries like Australia, and Cameroon should not be an exception.
The water ambassadors reiterate that access to good water remains a fundamental human right. As it is often said, water is life.
Some judicial police authorities have been trained on forensic investigations on crimes. The training, which lasted over a month, was aimed at enhancing their knowledge of appropriate ways on investigation crime activities and further train Cameroonian police elements on the concept. Haisincha completes her story.
3 weeks of intensive training of these 10 judicial police authorities on the proper management of crimes, especially the first stage of intervention.
Que je les ai formés à la préservation des traces et indices et à la gestion de la scène de crime. C'est-à-dire que dès à présent, non seulement ils savent bien préserver les traces et indices, gérer les scènes d'infraction, mais ils ont toute aptitude à dupliquer leurs connaissances auprès de leurs collègues de terrain, tant ici à la capitale que dans toutes les régions où ils ont exercé.
The capacity building training of the police trainers is geared towards enhancing their knowledge on the scientific and technical investigation strategies, with emphasis on the forensic approach. The trainees, drawn from the different police units across the 10 regions of the country, leave the training center quite enriched and satisfied.
I've really improved from what I've learned that the trainer has taught us. In fact, what we first of all knew, now we have learned more that has improved our capacity to secure the crime scene so that people should not penetrate to destroy the traces that has been kept by the criminal.
This is the initiative of the German Technical Cooperation, GIZ, which is in line with reinforcing the capacities of the Delegation General for National Security in the amelioration of the security situation in Cameroon.
Some newly assembled multifunctional kiosks have gone operational in Cameroon's economic city, Douala. The first set of 600 were officially inaugurated by the city mayor, Roger Bassa Antine. The project was financed to the tune of over 8 billion francs CFA. More in the following story.
With the objective to serve a solution to curb unbearable urban disorder, provide comfortable business and all working space, and bring customer-clients exchange closer, and contribute to embellish the city of Douala and improving the living standards of denizens. This is what comes with a new multi-purpose and functional kiosk presented to the public in Douala, November 17.
Improvement of living condition of citizens here. As you see, it is not possible to make some business here.
The inaugural ceremony saw the presence of top government officials and curious inhabitants whose interest was to know the cost and procedure to acquire one.
You may be able to buy your orange credit or MTN.
The first set of 600 were officially inaugurated by the city mayor, with plans to increase the number up to 1,400 in the years to come. With a dimension of 1.8 meters square and 2.5 meters in height, the multi-purpose kiosk have been specifically equipped with security alarms and surveillance cameras to meet the needs of occupants. The project is a joint vision of the Douala City Council and the Asante Media Group. It was financed to the tune of 8,400 million francs CFA.
Et le développement économique et social de la ville tout entière. Au Conseil d'appui à la réalisation des contrats de partenariat.
According to the city mayor, the future plans for the kiosk will incorporate the activities of other business stakeholders in all parts of Douala and Yaoundé. The kiosk has been designed to feed all types of commercial activities. Traders will have to disburse 35,000 francs CFA to have one for their business.
Experts of atomic radiation security have urged policymakers to facilitate the implementation of the legal framework to enable the involvement of the population into security management. The medical this weekend in Yaoundé. The details of High Sencha.
5 days of serious review of Cameroon's mechanism in the management of radiation effects. Experts say there have been considerable efforts since the initiative was intensified in 2014.
We've noted that the NRP was very committed, and also they have shown this commitment through the work that they have been performing through the past years to improve their regulatory practice. And this has clearly shown from the integrated management system which they have started documenting.
Though with the legal framework on the statutes of the International Atomic Energy Agency enacted in Cameroon in 2019, much still remains to be done. The atomic radiation specialist at the end of this training session leave behind a number of recommendations.
Having the law is one thing, but the effective implementation is another thing. Therefore, it's important, as I said, from the main recommendation is to have this decree, which establishes the regulatory body, and also to give the resources to the regulatory body. And of course, there are many other things, for example, to reinforce the legislative framework through the regulations for occupational exposure control, medical exposure control.
The Cameroonian policymakers equally urged to adopt measures of sensitizing the population on the different radiation elements, the health effects, and of course, different ways of prevention.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of Newscast on Canal International. Thanks so much for watching. We have news in the French language at exactly 19:05. We'll arrange this Lenkanga, but coming up next is the brief of Bubangomna. As from here, we'll be back tomorrow, same time. Good night.